Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. If you need any help with anything, check out finding-value.com. We still have that discount coupon code going on, holidays, if you're interested. And I'm going to give you my financial opinions as we work our way through all of those things today. So let's dive in there. Let's see what the market is trading like today. The DXY, sharp reversal here. Okay, I see you. We had nice big selling pressure move, big red candlesticks all coming down in a downtrend. This could be the beginning of a reversal of that downtrend today with this large reversal in the DXY, up 0.85% in a single day. We came on down. We were going to come and turn lower, but today it broke through that resistance support level that we've used in history. A lot of the times when you see a strong dollar, most of the time you'll see strong yields. And that's exactly what we saw today. So strong dollar along with strong yields. So we were up 1.84% on the 2-year, and it does look like it's going to try to put in a bottom here. So we'll have to see what other candlesticks come behind today. But right now, the momentum is still lower. It's going to try to put in a bottom here, and we're going to have to see what it does. The 10-year yield, to me, it looks like we are breaking a downtrend line today, and we'll see if that sticks over the next week or two. If this does all stick and we start to turn around, we could resume the uptrend if this does turn here. What that means is that the previous stocks under those market conditions will start to liven up again, aka oil and such, if the trend reestablishes itself. Versus maybe gold getting a little bit of headwind if yields start to go back up again. So that'd be the strong dollar, strong yield type move. But we've got a downtrend line broken on the 10-year. That's also occurring on the 30-year as well. And the 30-year looks a little bit more constructive as we went sideways before this turn. So we'll see if these yields turn over the next few weeks. We are at support. It could just be a small little bounce before heading lower. Or maybe if it's a weak bounce, we get an inverted kind of flag pattern or something like that. I don't know yet, but we'll watch it together. We'll see what happens. TYX TNX ratio, it is still inverting. The way that I view this is we are squeezing up. We've broken to the downside, hit our head a few times on this resistance, and are we going to go lower? Where the yield curve, at least the 30 and 10-year, invert against each other. I know that's not a popular opinion, where we see the yield curve staying inverted, but it is a possibility, and we'll watch it over the next few weeks to see if we get a clear direction out of this thing. Bond prices slightly lower, and we'll see where that goes as well. But generally, yields up, bond prices down. This still doesn't look bad, where this can't go higher. It still looks like this could easily go higher. So what that means is lower yields, higher bond prices. If this were to work out that way. So we've got conflicting kind of data information because the 10-year looks like it's going to try to turn, at least breaking this downtrend line. The 2 and 10s, we kind of squeezed up. That's generally good for a move lower. We moved lower, but today it's kind of losing some steam. Again, we'll monitor it. We'll see what the next few days have in store. It very well could roll over. A lot of things could potentially happen, and we'll continue to monitor it. Gold's down a little bit. We're down 4.3%. We've come on up. You know, there's no clear direction, in this circle here. We've got small green candlesticks, small red candlesticks. It seems like the market is somewhat in balance between buyers and sellers, and there isn't any one direction that I can tell in that circle there that you've got an imbalance of buyers and sellers. They're all kind of equal. Small little up candlestick, small down candlestick. So again, we'll see where this thing goes. Pretty weak selling pressure. Not too convinced that gold's necessarily going to go down here. Silver down a little bit, but again, we're up against a strong resistance line, and there isn't that much selling pressure. There's your strong resistance line that we hit our head on. And the selling pressure, I mean, it's not that strong. It's not like you've got this here. We kind of came back up against resistance. We're just barely pulling back. Platinum down a little bit. This thing's been on a pretty big run, though. And we've got a little bit, it's a little stronger down day, but it's not too bad. Again, kind of just sideways action coming out of platinum. And then palladium down, and I think this is just doing a return move. We've got the big falling wedge, the false breakout, the short covering here, and then I think we're just going to do a return move before heading higher. That's the likely case that I'm seeing. XAU to gold ratio, gold and silver mining companies are selling off a little bit stronger today, getting a little bit bigger pullback, about 1.5%. And that's what we've got on XAU to gold, still at an incredibly cheap level. Let's continue to watch this and look for a break of this downtrend line. If the right market conditions come, we'll break through it. If we're still inverting the yield curve and yields really take a move to the upside, we could see crude oil become more favorable over maybe some of these gold and silver areas. CRB index down a teeny bit. We came up, hit our head on this resistance, came back. We're pulling back right now. Big picture view, this is what it looks like. We very well could come down like that in the shorter term, which is very much possible. So we could see a little bit more downside in it. Maybe crude oil's got a little bit further to go to the downside, and we'll look at crude. Crude's a big component of the CRB index. CRB versus S&P 500, this still looks to me like it's trying to put in a bottom before heading higher. So I still think this looks good to move on higher. And the reason I think that is we have a big bullish engulfing and not much selling pressure on the right-hand side. Usually what you see is you'll get downward movements, small little bounces, and then you get a huge forceful pump higher, and then the sellers kind of leak out, and then you work your way on up again whenever that selling pressure is done. GDX down 1.45%, but still above good solid support. GDXJ still above the breakout trend line. So you could say that this is probably a return move back to the support level. SILJ's in the same situation. We've broken out of that trend line and probably coming back to do a return move. Return moves, they generally occur, but they don't occur every single time. Just for your information. Crude oil down 1.63. It was really playing with my emotions earlier in the day. I thought we were ready to do some really good launching here. And then the selling pressure just came towards the end of the day. Maybe a little bit of a squeeze up there before heading a little bit lower. I still think that we're trying to put in a bottoming process here. So we've broken this downtrend line, kind of did a retest here. And I still think, we're doing some trampoline jumps on top of support that supports the big trend line going across here. That's that big trend line that I drew in there on a logarithmic. But yeah, I think somewhere in this range, we'll probably put a bottom in at some point. TTF gas down 6%. Pretty strong down day today. And the momentum still to the downside for TTF gas. Natural gas in America doesn't look as bad. You can see kind of these patterns here. And is this a bounce with the bullish engulfing here that we're going to try to work our way on up? We'll see again. Again, if you're trading and you're doing short-term trading, you wait for opportunities that are clear signals. I wouldn't say that this is necessarily a clear signal in this general location. I don't know if I'd really be trading this at the current time, and it very well could head lower if that is a flag pattern on a little bit longer time frame. We've got XOP, yeah, you know me. We're up today, surprisingly, up 0.76%. People are positioning in the exploration production companies, irrespective of crude oil being down. That also gives me further evidence that we could potentially be trying to put in a bottom in crude oil as people are accumulating the equities. We do have a broken downtrend line here. This could be, maybe we've got further to go back for a return move, but we've broken the downtrend line. It looks all right. OIH also not really too much selling pressure. We've broken out of this pattern here to the upside, and maybe we're going to close this gap potentially where we come a little bit further down, something like that. Very possible. Longer term on OIH, it's in an uptrend channel. Sprout Physical Uranium Trust, we're down today, and we are in the tip of this pattern that I drew a long time ago, at least I think a week or two ago, and we're just hanging out inside the pattern still, waiting for a decisive break either up or down. URA, a little bit more selling pressure today, down 2%, but is this going to yield further downside pressure? You can see the fractal I've got, the blue fractal there, and we've got a little bit of back and forth here, so maybe we've got some back and forth to do. I don't know. URNM down 1.8%, still above support, still working its way sideways as we're up against some sort of resistance. URNJ also getting a little bit stronger selling pressure. That is a bearish engulfing. We are seeing a few of these show up here as we are trading, and that generally means we might get a little bit of selling pressure in the near term. But we could sell just down to this support level that I've drawn in there on the dailies and get support down here if it does push down to that support level. That's something to watch for. TAN down 2.4%. We are above big long support. That white line going across is that big support level, and it still looks all right. COPX down a little bit. Still looks like we're in an uptrend to me, and we are above long-term support levels. Lithium down 1.8%, 1.28%. This still looks good to go higher. It's just moving around. REMX is the same thing. We hit our head on resistance. It still looks good to go higher with time. And it still looks okay. Are we going to get a reversal here? If we throw in a big, large, candlestick like a bearish engulfing, then I would say we're going to roll over. But that hasn't been thrown yet, so that would be premature to say that. S&P 500 down off of that resistance line. So we did pull back. It's not a huge selling pressure candlestick. Let's continue to monitor this. If we're going to go into a slowdown, this is going to start to come back. It could come back due to increasing interest rates as well from the bond market. So we can watch both of those things. And then here is the U.S. Composite Index. That is also pulling back today, much larger than the S&P at 1.6%. Is this thing going to turn over? These candlesticks are pretty small. They're not overly, bearish with a bunch of power. Let's just continue to watch. This very well could continue higher. Let's watch it here. KRE, again, we're above support. I still think this looks good to go higher for KRE in the short term. Emerging markets, it doesn't like that strong dollar, guys, or the strong yields. It did pull back today, but still above support. XHB pulling on back a little bit, down 1.23%. It still looks good to go higher over the longer term. Yeah, this could fall on back like that and then work its way on up. Moving sideways. Still looks good to go higher. I don't see too much selling pressure or reversal candlesticks or anything. Still looks all right. Copper getting a little bit more selling pressure there. But we're still above the big pattern. So again, we can move around and do whatever before heading higher. Iron ore moving sideways, down 0.21%, but overall still looks good to go up. Momentum is higher in iron ore. Aluminum down a little bit stronger day today, 2.7%. We're probably doing the retest here. So we punched out, and we'll probably come back and do a retest and then work our way on up. Baltic Dry Index. We were up today in the Baltic Dry Index, 0.34%. This is on the weeklies, but still looking good from this breakout. Projected move is quite a bit higher, just like iron ore. Newcastle coal down 5.72%. But again, we're sitting on top of support. I think it's a good location to be looking at a lot of coal companies. And a lot of coal companies have pretty good charts. They're starting to break and move on higher. Bitcoin 5.7% up, looking fantastic. But it didn't really close that strong. What's going on there? Looks like people really got excited here, blew it on up, and then we kind of just working our way back a little bit. Could be a flag pattern that's developing here that will break on the way up. But we've broken to the upside, and it looks pretty good still at the current time. And then Ethereum also, a little bit of wick at the top. There's some resistance up here that we're running into. But overall, I like how the patterns look here. It still looks good. So that's what I've got for today, guys. Thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Remember holidays if you'd like to get a discount if you want to join. And most everything, we're kind of just bouncing around, it looks like. We've got slight upward momentum from last year. But right now, we're kind of just bouncing all around. S&P, NASDAQ, crude oil's trying to put in a bottom. Nat gas is a little bit on the weak side. Iron ore still looks strong. Uranium is still holding together. It's in a rising wedge, and we'll see what occurs there. But most everything, the trends haven't changed yet. So we're just working our way up, grinding on up for the most part. But that's what I've got, guys. We'll catch you later. This is Finding Value.